Hello, everyone. This is Truth and Oneness Discussions with Aquarius.
And Scorpio.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about transgenderism. So, the reason why we're talking about this is because, well, it's kind of interesting that it's in the news a lot. And anything that's in the news, I think is a little fishy,
Yeah.
especially when it's like hardcore in the news and on TV and in the media and whatnot. But we came across some videos recently where these YouTubers, and I think this is like a really new thing, that these YouTubers are doing these things called transvestigations.
Yes.
Where they're looking at celebrities and pointing out the fact that a lot of the females are actually male and a lot of the males are actually female. So a lot of the celebrities are transgendered based off their research, and they're looking at body proportions and whatnot and pointing certain specific things out. So of course that kind of is like, what?
Yeah.
Sort of. It was interesting too. A lot of these people are also flat earthers, or people that know that the Earth is not what they've been telling us that it is. It's just a part of they know that's a lie, and then they've come to this, and they're seeing that this is a lie. The whole celebrities and who they really are, I guess.
Yeah.
But so that's why we're talking about this today, because it seems like it's could potentially be another part of this great deception, right? Okay, so I think I'll start here. I've always, even before it's been in the news a ton, I've kind of always thought that the idea of being transgender is a little strange or a little off. Something's off with it, and I'm all for someone who, if you feel like you're a certain way or whatever you want to do for yourself to make yourself feel fully present or happy as a human living your life, right? If that means changing your gender or whatever it is you feel like you want to do, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, right? That's fine. But there seems to be almost like too much coverage or too much push. It's almost like a distraction. Like, we're not paying attention to real issues and real people with problems. We're paying attention to these people that are making a choice to want to change who they are. And it's interesting too, because they want to. I researched this a lot back maybe a few years ago when I first started hearing, more than a few years ago actually, when I first started hearing about this, because it's such an interesting phenomenon. Trying to put yourself in the shoes of someone who potentially thinks that they're a different gender. What was I saying before? I feel like, because they say a lot that God made a mistake or something like that, which is a very weird thing to say, because it's almost like you're being kind of blasphemous if you want to get super like religious or whatever, but it's disrespectful to the Creator, I think, to say that. And I think, say if I was me and I felt like I needed to be a man, I'm not sure if I would go through all this process of changing what I look like, as far as surgery and whatnot. I mean, maybe I'd just keep my hair short and like wear dude clothes or something like that. I don't know. And that would probably be enough for me, because I feel like maybe it's because I mean, you can't be. Well, the idea of changing the surgery and all that, it's almost like you're trying to show other people that you're the opposite gender, which that seems a little weird to me, because you're doing it not really for yourself, you're doing it for other people. You don't need to convince yourself of who you are, right?
Exactly.
And also, I just want to bring it real quick. I know, and we should all know this too, and it says it in a lot of ancient spiritual texts like the Upanishads, say specifically, and there's like the spirit or soul is changeless, formless, and is genderless. It enters a body that has a gender. So it's like, to even have that idea that you feel like you should have been the opposite gender, that's a physical thing. That's a human thing. Like, your soul is not a gender. So that, on that level, it kind of is a little off too, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think about this whole?
I mean, there's definitely a chance that you might feel like you're in the wrong body, or like because a lot of people have like past life experiences, or like maybe they were another gender in a past life, and they have.
But that's just a memory, though.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I was gonna say, it's like that's still something that's just a part of the physical. It's like a memory from the physical. When a genderless soul goes into a body, it's like, then why do you really have to do all these surgeries to convince people. Then the thing that's interesting about it, they like to say this. I heard this a lot around campus. It's like they like to be the other gender, but they don't want to be considered passing, but they want to pass as the opposite gender. And then they say they're not trying to trick you, but then the thing is, like, they won't tell you that their gender is different than it really is. It's
like, and how confusing. Dare you too try to, like, if you call them the wrong thing too. It's like so weird. It's getting like so weird and strange, this whole like transgender thing.
Yeah.
And it does seem really, when you look at it from a broad perspective, just look at it from it seems like people are trying to be deceptive in a way.
Oh, of course. I mean, look at, like, soon as Caitlyn Jenner came out, all of a sudden she's on the covers of magazines, and like they're trying to make her like Woman of the Year and all these other things.
Yeah.
Like, but that's not a real woman.
But when you think about it too, with this new whole Hollywood or celebrities thing, maybe all the Women of the Year have been men. Who knows?
Exactly.
You know?
And the most beautiful woman probably was a man.
Yeah, and so some of your other things you've come across with it, or what do you think?
Well, what was interesting also, when I was taking classes, the class I had called Girls started off literally talking about girls, and then after just a few weeks, literally the rest of the class was talking about trans women.
Okay, so this is a class you took at the university?
Yeah, and, which is kind of interesting when it's a class that's about women and their struggles. Why is it like most of the class about trans women? It's like, used to be men, now they're women. And when you read about them and their struggles, the black women, true black women, really had a lot of issues that they're trying to deal with. Trans women, literally was just like, hey, just don't say I'm trans. It's like, someone might beat me up.
How dare you call me the wrong thing, right?
Let me use whatever bathroom I want. How dare you? But black women actually have real issues that they're trying to deal with.
So as far as the girls' class, you feel like they put way too much emphasis on transgender people when they should have been talking about actually women with problems.
For sure.
And actually, in the grand scheme of thing, I think the people who have like the actual issues, I wouldn't say not issues, but like seem to be like more the target of this society, this patriarch society, are women, and more so that black women. And when I say black women, I mean the women who are the indigenous of the world.
Yes.
Okay, if you know what I mean, we'll get into that later.
Well, the thing is, like, when you really think about it, it's like, why such a target? It's like, you always target in any kind of society, if you're trying to take over or like keep it subjugated, is you go after the most powerful people, which obviously would be black women.
Okay. And then, so in this, did you read a book?
I read a book in the class about the life of Janet Mock. And Janet Mock was a man that transitioned to being a woman. And the story was supposed to be like a poor me kind of a story, but when it's like you really look into it and just take away the fact that this was a man, even if you just looked at it as a woman, you're like, wow, this is a very promiscuous woman. It's like, and then like one of the points was she was being sexually abused by her brother or her brother-in-law or whatever he was. It's like she didn't put up like any kind of resistance, like which typically you'd get from a black woman's story, like the. Mm-hmm. But then also it's like she believed that women were highly sexual, so she would like literally do really sexual stuff with pretty much anyone and just be like, well, this is what women do, right? So this is what I'm gonna do, which is not even close to being true.
So it's almost like, well, I'm gonna be a woman, so. Let's see, women have sex with men, and women, let's see what else they do. They dress skimpy, and what else? Yeah. And they just did that, and they were fine. It seemed like, from what you told me as far as your review of the book, she seemed completely fine with acting like this. And,
of course.
But the story was sort of put at you as, oh my gosh, look at all these things I had to go through just to change my gender, and people should feel really sorry for me about this whole thing. But it was kind of clear that it's like, you made these choices to do these things.
Yeah, everyone, it's like that, especially towards the end when she was trying to get money to do the whole sex change in Thailand and everything like that. The way she was getting money was through sex work. And the thing is, like, they make it seem like that's all she had an option for. But the thing is, she was in school, in the university, she had a job, but because it wasn't making enough money fast enough, she says that was like her only option. I'm like, yeah, $2,000 in a weekend is quite a bit when it comes to that kind of thing. But the thing is, like, that's not your only option. You had a job. you just want like money now, and you're like more than happy to just do sex work. Like, you weren't forced into that.
And so I guess this story just kind of highlights the fact that it sort of put at you that these people have a lot of problems, so we should be focusing our attention on their suffering and whatnot. But at least based off that one person's story, it's like you're a person making choices just like everyone else, right?
Yeah.
And living your life, and you're very aware of the fact that you're sleeping around and for money, and you seem to be enjoying it, so why should I feel sorry for you, sort of. But that's how these stories are put toward us. Like, we really need to be focusing on this transgender issue. They can't use the bathrooms they want, and whatever other issues are in the news about how they're being mistreated and whatnot.
You should definitely be very skeptical of something when you see it in the news, the media, politics, and it's like something that's being highly publicized everywhere you go.
Yeah.
That's one of those things. Yeah, one of those things is the interesting about the Janet Mock book that I had to read it for class is when we had to write about it, we literally couldn't have any kind of opinion of our own about the book or anything itself. We had to literally write about how the trans people were being used and abused, how horrible society is to them. And even if in our criteria itself, it says if you referred to Janet Mock as a he, you automatically lost points. Like, literally, it was like, why is there's such a big, massive push?
Why is this a class that you can't think for yourself? It's almost like the class itself is set up to kind of help indoctrinate society into accepting transgenderism, basically. It's like you need to just accept it, and you can't say anything about it. You can't question it or anything.
Because otherwise, how dare you?
Yeah, it's like, how dare you? You're so, like, transphobic and whatnot, right? But there's a bigger, I feel like there's a much bigger, like we said earlier, there's a bigger agenda here. I mean, there has to be. It's like, when you know pretty much that everything else is a lie and there's something fishy about anything that comes in on the news, then you know that this has to be too. But what it seems to do, just from a individual perspective, just looking at it from what it is, it's completely like desecrating the female form, and it's disrespectful to like the female form. You know, you have men who all they want to do is do it most of the time. Men think about doing it a lot in their own needs, really, and they put on a woman's body, and so they continue acting like men, though. You know,
for sure.
It's like it's so disrespectful, and it's somehow it's like it's disrespectful to the female body, which I feel like is like all of creation is something divine, and the female body creates too, right? And I also feel like it also puts the idea into people's heads of castrating men. So not only is it disrespectful to women, but it's also making men into eunuchs, right?
Yeah.
It seems like there'd be like this is a bigger thing than just, these people want to, be themselves, be who they really are. Disrespect of motherhood, disrespect of creation. Any other things to add to that? So you don't anything you want to add? Okay. So going back to this whole trans investigation of celebrities. So there's a few channels that I've looked at. One is John Humanity, one is Mr. E, ABC, and there's a couple of other ones too. And we can put them in the description box of our video if we have it up on YouTube, so other people can kind of see what these people have been doing. But basically, they're investigating celebrities and pointing out that most of these women are actually men, and most of these men potentially are women. So I know this is kind of a hard one to prove, 100%, because lots of people have different body types. Like, a lot of ladies have different ways their bodies look, and a lot of men look different too. There's a lot of variety in the way people look. So, but I do think it's a little bit strange that I want to say like 90% of the women celebrities have super broad shoulders, have man faces and man hands, and they have very narrow hips. That's something I've seen throughout like all of the time that I've been watching TV and crap, But it's something that you see over and over again. But I guess seeing it on TV so much, you just put at you that this is what a woman looks like. So it's almost too like when you look at it from that perspective, and if this is really what's going on, it really confuses a person, right?
Oh, of course.
Like the only people I've seen, and it's besides my, people in my life, but you're not studying people in your life. They're studying their bodies and whatnot. You're staring at people on TV, right?
Yeah.
And so you see that these women, or whatever, that have dude bodies and dude faces, like this is what a woman should look like. And then you have these really girly looking dudes, like super girly looking, especially a lot of these male actors when they're young, they look super girly.
Yeah.
Super girly. And so you think that's what dudes are supposed to look like.
Exactly. It's like,
and so it gets that down into your subconscious that this is what these genders are supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And that, I think, screws a lot of people up.
The way they act, the way they look, it's like and then they constantly go through different cosmetic surgeries to make you look like these people look a certain way. So
well, of course. Well, we already know the phenomenon of actresses getting, face work done or whatever, plastic surgery. But if this is true that they're all transgendered, if they're all were men, then this makes so much sense. Like a lot of stuff in Hollywood, what happens in Hollywood makes so much more sense when you look at it from the point that everyone's transgendered.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that all the women either come in with already having plastic surgery, or as soon as they hit like 30, they all of a sudden come back, they disappear for a few years and come back and their faces are all effed up, sorry. and they all have narrow hips. When they're out in public, they wear super huge glasses, are all covered up, and they hate people taking pictures of them when they don't have makeup on. When you do get shots of them without makeup on, they look like their faces like been like, what the heck happened to you? And I was looking at this video the other day on YouTube about how, oh, look at the stars without their makeup on. They're still so beautiful, but they just look like how they actually look. And like, they look weird. They don't look like human beings, okay? Like the makeup they put on, they're hiding something.
Yeah, for sure.
Like big time. But it makes so much sense if this is what the reason is. Like, they go from, and they look so different as they age too. Like a woman, I feel like
an older woman.
Yeah, a normal woman, as she goes from 20 to 40 to 50 or 60, she still looks like a woman. Her face doesn't change that much. But these ladies, oh my gosh, you look at them from 20 to 30, they look completely different. Their bone structure is all different. They look like they have man faces.
Yeah.
So there's something up there, for sure. Even though you can't prove it 100%, something's going on, And I don't know if it's that, like some of these other YouTubers were talking about, I don't know if it's something that I don't know if some of them are not aware of it, or if something is something that has been done to them. Like, I feel like they do this to people maybe when they're really young. I don't know.
Welcome to the elite group or whatever.
Well, some people are talking about how they may even be able to do it in utero.
Oh, of course, yeah. When you start to think about that, it's like
they have the technology to do that.
It's like in utero. When you think about like in vitro and like people donating eggs, because they know it's like they could take an egg, they can kind of like clear it out, and then they can just add any DNA they want to it. So it's like, hey, that's why it looks like a celebrity. That's why they were pregnant and had a baby. But it's like, were they really pregnant?
Well, as far as pregnant, I feel like most pregnant celebrities weren't really pregnant. I've been looking at pictures, and they look super fake. A lot of them look fake. The bare belly pregnant photos, those can be easily faked.
Yeah, it's like you can even look on some videos and stuff like that, and commercials and stuff.
Where they make fun of
where it's like they literally will have fake bellies and show you that they can do it.
Yeah, they can easily make a fake belly look real. So it's like, I don't know. It's starting. I'm putting everything that I've ever known into question here.
Yeah, and that's the thing also about the in vitro thing is a lot of people, normal people, have it done too. So it's like if they're able to mess with,
celebrities.
The celebrities, is like, how do we know that they're not just doing it to everybody or anyone that they have an opportunity to? It's like, because I've noticed even in my class, there's ladies that were like, oh, guess what? My kid is starting to become like a trans person too. I'm like, that's a little odd. They
could be doing something to people's eggs and whatnot,
Yeah.
And it could be part of this larger agenda to make everyone become trans and like not be confused about their gender and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very interesting. I want to say too, as far as like the pregnant belly photos, they do look fake. And I was looking at a lot of the way, I've only looked at a couple of them, 3 or 4 of them, but the walk that they do, they don't walk like pregnant women. So as far as I'm concerned, because I know that they lie to us about everything else, right? They lie to us about history. They lie to us about who the original people of the Americas were. They lie about the Earth shape. They lie about the Holocaust, every war that's happened in this world. Pretty much everything or you've been told by the media and by the government and whatnot, it's pretty much not true. In case anyone didn't know that. So why wouldn't they lie about this? And why wouldn't they? I feel like maybe the purpose of it is just to screw around with people and to make us
feel lost.
Maybe feel lost, but I feel like it's disrespectful on a spiritual level if you're having men like obsess over other men, really, when you're watching TV and you see a woman you think is attractive, quote unquote. Most of these women body really are not that attractive.
Lots of makeup, and then they just flash their breasts and stuff at you, their fake breasts, like constantly, like, "Hey, look, I'm beautiful, right?"
Yeah, but so they make these dudes like women, and they make these women like other dudes that may actually be really women. It's almost like they're really screwing with the way our perception or what we would normally do in life. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that they. And then people would probably say, well, why would they waste the time to do this? Why? And like, why not? And then, like I said, they lie about everything else. Why wouldn't they lie about this too? That's how I see it. Even though you can't prove it 100%, and we may be completely wrong about all this, but even before you know that this is a possibility, when you go through and look at these people, they look off. They look really off. Like there's something up with a lot of these celebrities and how they look.
Yeah.
Like they could potentially purposely go out and look for ladies that have narrow hips and wide shoulders and man faces and are super, not all of them are tall, but most of them look like dudes in some way or another, and they look for girly dudes. That could be purposely what they're looking for, sure, but why, if you can make it, why you wouldn't have to look for it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's pretty interesting too. Like when you really start to think about like people that were in power, that were like even in like ancient China hundreds of years ago, a lot of those people would be like the eunuchs would be the ones in charge, and that's a castrated man. And then when you think about like how all these things are like transitioning along, they even have if you go online, there's ways and certain things to eat, foods to like help you transition or help you to develop more testosterone or estrogen through just foods alone too. When you think about that, that's kind of an interesting thing, because they could have been doing that. We can be constantly being deceived by trans people for a very long time and not even realize it, because it's like they know there's foods and different herbs and stuff that can do this.
Well, yeah, and what is it? What was it? Going back 400 years or more, there is this what's a castrato? It's like someone who this isn't like in the entertainment world. They specifically castrate and then they're a performer.
Oh yeah.
And back then, of course, people knew that they were transgendered or castrated or whatnot. But it's almost like that phenomenon continued up till now, and there's just more of it, and they're not telling you that these people are transgender. The thing is, being a transgender person in itself is not an issue.
No.
If that's who you feel like you are and you want to make those changes with yourself, then you should be able to do that, and no one should bother you about it. But the deception and the trickery that goes along with possibility of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is, like, it's like if you feel like you're trans, it's like, why do you truly need to go through the surgery? It's like you can just dress and act a different way. It's like you don't have to go through all these risky procedures just to convince other people that you're something. Because then it's like
that's what I was saying earlier. That's where it gets kind of really weird for me. It's like, why do this to your body when it doesn't matter? Your soul doesn't have a gender.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter to you
to go through all these surgeries
to change your outward appearance. You know who you are, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets weird. But I feel like I wanted to mention something else, but I guess another thing being a transgender, or being men, all these women being potentially actually men, that explains a lot too, how they act, how they you get all these women that dress really, really skimpy, right?
Yeah.
And act super sexual and stuff.
In the media, I mean, entertainment industry, for sure. It's like, how often
Does a real woman dressed like a drag queen? Because really, when you look at them at a lot of these award shows and when they're out in public, they're dressed like what a drag queen would dress like. Like their hair's all done up. They have tons of makeup on. They're wearing these super skimpy clothes, and they have like high heels on. And they look like drag queens. Like, I don't know what else.
It is pretty interesting. Like, regardless of where they're at, they'll dress like that.
Well, for the most part, some of them don't. Like a lot of older ones don't much anymore. But you know, but yeah. So it's an interesting thing for people to think about. Whether it's true or not, it's certainly something that people need to think about a little bit, because it certainly could be true, and they're not the whole like, oh, but they look like women, and how can you tell 100%? Because I see women in my life that look like this or whatever. It's not. There's not 100%, across the board. You can't. And also thinking, well, what am I trying to say here? You can make someone look a certain way for the most part. Any way you can kind of make them look any way you want if you have enough plastic surgery and hormones, and if you start early enough. You can make any dude look like a woman for the most part, and any man look like a...
the opposite. Any woman may look like a man.
Yeah. But I feel like there are certain little things that you can't get away from. Like, I was looking at some of these pictures, and it's almost like there's something in the gestures that a lot of these that are highly suspect. There's something in the gestures, like the hand movements, the feet. Like, some ladies have big feet, tall ladies, they can have big feet, but there's a man foot look that they can't seem to get away from, the ones that I'm pretty sure are dudes.
Yeah. There's
something in the shoulders too, like the shoulder width. I don't think that's something that you can hide really well. The wide shoulders that a lot of guys have.
Yeah.
What are there? Some other things.
The hips is another one.
Well, I see a lot of ladies with narrow hips though.
They have narrow hips, but it's like
usually if you have narrow hips, you have somewhat of it behind.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of these people are kind of super flat in the back, and then they have like the narrow hips. But some of them have curves too, which you can make. You can make curves.
Yeah,
they have like the whole body sculpturing thing and Brazilian butt or whatever implants and fat repositioning and whatnot.
So they're really good at this. They have really good technology on like how to.
And that's another reason why it's like, sure, some of them you can look at them and be like, but that looks like a lady. Like, I don't know, I can't really tell. But then you have to keep thinking that they can pretty much do, like they're really good at this. They have all the technology they want, and even with having so much technology, you can still see that some of them don't go so well as they get older.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
As time goes on, it's like if you look at the older pictures and just look at like 5 to 10 year intervals of these people, you see them like pretty much just falling apart. And like, how many older women in your family
look like men in 10 years?
Yeah, look like they're falling apart. It's like, I've seen plenty of women that are in like their 70s and 80s years old. They just look like an older version of themselves. They don't look like their face is like melting off or like getting bigger or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely something up with it. Like I said, whether you can prove it 100% or not,
it's just question it. Just look a little bit deeper.
Look a little deeper. And this is another reason why we need to not watch so much TV. Like they're trying to program us basically almost to accept this whole phenomenon in a way, but also they're trying to deceive us. I want to read a little passage from the Quran, just because I've read the whole Quran and there's a lot of good and there's a lot of interesting. It's very patriarch, but the information in it is important, just like every other religious text. I think the information given is important, but it's kind of twisted around maybe from a human male perspective.
Yeah.
But this is a good, interesting passage, and I'm sure this passage is like this in other religious texts, but it says, so we created man out of dry clay from molded mud, and the jinn we created before him from flaming fire. Your Lord said to the angels, I am about to bring into being a man wrought from mud. when I have formed him and breathed my spirit into him, fall down in prostration before him. Then the angels all prostrated themselves together. But Satan did not. He refused to join those who prostrated themselves. God asked him, "What is the matter with you, that you are not among those who have prostrated themselves?" He replied, "I am not one to prostrate myself to a man whom you have created out of clay of molded mud." God said, "Then get out of here, for you are accursed, and the curse shall be on you till the day of judgment." Satan said, "O my Lord, grant me respite till the day of resurrection." He said, "You are granted respite till that appointed day." He said, "Lord, since you have let me go astray, I shall make the path of error seem alluring to them on the earth, and shall mislead them all, except your chosen servants." God said, "This is the path which leads straight to me. Surely you shall have no power over my true servants, except those misguided ones who choose to follow you." And I'm going to stop there, because that kind of explains pretty, if you want to bring, and that's let's see, it's called, the chapter's the Rocky Tract, and the verses starts at 26. But
the deception definitely runs deep. Especially, it's like
if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, it's like whoever these people are, they're running Hollywood and the media and whatnot. Like their sole purpose is to deceive us and make us worship, sort of, or idolize something other than the Creator. I feel like, and a lot of us are going right with it, really. And then to deceive us, on top of deceiving us, they are making men into women and women, and deceiving these people too, because these individuals, these actresses and actors and whatnot, these celebrities, I feel like they're being deceived too. I mean, they may be in on it, to a certain extent, but I feel like the deception just goes far and wide. They say, the rabbit hole goes super deep.
It's like, especially when you think about, like, if you watch shows and movies since a young age, it's like you literally start to pick up characteristics as, like, this is an attractive person. So being a male, you, like, are attracted to essentially another male, and then you wonder why it's like people are, like, kind of confused with their sexuality. The whole, like, let's blur the gender lines, let's blur sexuality.
Yeah.
Women are attracted to, like, other women because they're trans as well. So it's like you literally don't know what you're looking for. So when you actually go out into the real world, you're like, well, why does this guy look attractive? That's interesting. Or why does this girl not look attractive? It's like, maybe it's because
I can see that too. It's like they're trying to confuse us. Not only like when we go out into the real world and we see real people, like we've been programmed to be now super confused about it, what we're looking for. That's so interesting. That's so ridiculous. Well, it's ridiculous. It's interesting. Oh my gosh. But I don't know if we want to go through.
We just do like one or two. We'll talk about a couple different celebrities that I think might be suspect. Like you guys should look into as well.
Yeah, we'll look into all of them. Like I definitely feel like that. Well, for example, Justin Bieber. Like, come on, you guys. Like I've never listened to Justin Bieber and his music and whatnot, but after hearing about this phenomenon, I went and looked at a video of him. That's a girl. Like there's that one is pretty easy to tell that's a little girl, okay, or a woman, a young woman. There's just the hand, like the whole body shape, the face shape, the hand movements and gesture when you see them on the stage dancing. Those are really. I'm not trying to say that there's only feminine and masculine. There's some in between, but that was super just. I haven't seen very many men that move like that,
Yeah.
Like I said, I think the key is looking at they get really good at, like, practicing and whatnot, but there's something in, like, the way the hands move and the way the hands sit and how they just move their hands that you can pick out that there's something up with that.
Yeah.
And I think, too, like, the eyes, I feel like. And that's another thing, too. Like, a lot of celebrities, you can't see them in person. Like, they stay away from real people, I feel like. Or if they are with real people, they wear big old glasses. When you look at someone, when you're next to a real person, I think you can pick up from them what they really are.
Yeah. It's like, when you're talking about the eyes, one of the things that's commonly said is, like, the eyes are the gateway to the soul. Mm-hmm. That's probably why they always, like, wear the star shades.
Hide,
They don't want you to see who they really are.
Yeah, and you look into some of these, like, I was looking at, was it Kevin Bacon is one and Jack Nicholson, when they're younger especially, they look really, really girly. But when you look at their eyes, those look like lady eyes.
Yeah.
They look like their
It's
body,
like they have a really soft gaze. It's like the shape and the like.
and the way they move their hands.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like even in some of these celebrities, they've openly like said out, like Jessica Alba and Megan Fox have said like, I'm a man or I'm a trans man, and everyone
Well,
just kind of just like laughs it off during the interview. It's like, but what if they're actually really trying to tell you that, hey, I'm actually a man?
Yeah. Megan Fox, yeah, I'm not really sure about her, but these people who do the trans investigations, they say that that's a real, and dude, that one I can't really tell, though I do see a lot of, she's had a lot of plastic surgery.
Yes.
I've seen a lot of change in like the body shape from when she was younger, and the face shape a lot from when she was younger to now. So she's had a lot of work done, for sure.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, why do all these women have to have so much work done?
Exactly.
They have so much work done. Like if I was a woman, an actress, and even if someone told me you need to get some face work done, I'd be like, no, I don't need to get plastic surgery done. Thanks, though, for the offer, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, but all of them, like 90% or more of them, they all get plastic. They get a lot of plastic surgery. And like I said,
they all start looking the same.
They all start looking the same and like really weird and like not human. And it's just really weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, and if you guys like are really questioning like, oh, could this happen? It's like, well, I mean, Caitlyn Jenner's a pretty good example. That's
Yeah, they show you right there. There's one that they did.
Exactly.
Right.
It's like they show how easy they got it done. It's like, and that he was not an attractive one, but then you see like after they put the makeup and everything on, they're on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah, and it looks like a woman. So I mean, they can do this stuff. But who's it? Britney Spears? That's a dude.
That's a dude.
That's a dude. Like some of them are, like I said, some of them are real obvious, and then you pick up this stuff beforehand. You're like, this woman is a little off, but okay, sort of thing. But once you realize that this is like seems to be like an actual phenomenon of something that's going on, then you realize that, oh, that makes so much sense. Okay, I got it now, right?
Yeah.
That's a dude. Yeah, looking at a lot of her pictures and just like her movements or in her face, like, and she has done that weird face change. Like you're a young 20-something lady, you look a certain way, and then like 10 years later, your face looks totally different. Like the structure of your face has gotten a lot broader and sharper, and then all of a sudden you have plastic surgery or something, right? That's definitely a dude. Another singer, I don't know, Ariana Grande. I think she was like a Disney person or something. I don't know where she came from, but I've seen her out. She's a really petite-looking person, and I always thought something was up with this man or girl, whoever it whatever it is, but that's definitely a dude. Just looking at the way the body is shaped and the super broad shoulders and the way the hands move, that's a guy.
Yeah.
Any other ones? Another one?
There's definitely some pretty suspect ones, obviously.
Jennifer Aniston,
Fergie, Kesha. Kesha, like, she's a younger singer, and you could tell that is a man. It's
yeah.
like,
Oh, another really good singer one, Lana Del Rey. I don't know if anyone's heard of her, but oh my gosh, that's not the work there was not done very well, because the younger pictures, it looks like a total boy with long hair, and to now total plastic surgery face, but still looks like a dude, and the way they move looks like it's the dude, okay? And it's so interesting because when you start thinking about this and you go back and look at these people, you're like, what the heck? They're trying to screw around with people, and they're trying to it's the whole big grand deception thing. I don't know I kind of get an idea where they're going with all this, but I'm going to put some of these other videos, these YouTuber videos up, because they talk more about it, and you guys can research for yourself. But basically, just realize that our world is a big deception, basically. It's a big, and there's certain people, especially from the media and the controllers or whatever, these people are lying to us for a reason, you know?
Exactly.
They're trying to keep us distracted and worshiping idols, kind of, in a way, sort of, you know? But, yeah, it gets interesting, and I don't know, I don't have much else to add to this except that
definitely do your own
your
investigations.
research.
It's like, it's interesting when you start to really like peek your head in the rabbit hole. You're like, wow,
there's so many, it goes really for miles and miles and miles, and there's so many branches. It's like there's so much going on down here, right? But it's just another thing we need to think about as a society of people, and like I said, if we don't understand what the lies are, we can't really come together and understand what's going on in our reality
Yeah.
if we're just accepting are these lies blind. And so we need to be able to separate the truth from lies. And that's why this is important, because if this is a lie, this is a really, really, really big one,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But, yeah, so I think that closes up. You have any closing remarks or anything?
Just do your research, everybody. Please do some research.
Do some research. Don't believe everything you've been told or what you see on TV, or definitely not what you see on TV. Oh my gosh, just don't even watch TV anymore.
Yeah. I mean, because ignorance is definitely like, it's almost like a sin in itself. It's like, or like when you spread other information that's fake or wrong, you're just leading people down the wrong path as well. It's like you need to actually like look into things.
Yeah, and so, but I kind of feel bad about this whole thing. So I'm like, what if none of this is true? I mean, we can't prove it, like I said, but there's something up here. Something smells. So there's something rotten in Denmark with this whole situation. So this is why we're talking about it, because definitely there's something up with it. And we'll just have to go from there. But all right, well, that's another episode of Truth and Oneness Discussions. If I don't know what we're going to talk about next time, but we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll get into the ancient, some more ancient civilizations, probably the Americas, but we'll see. But all right, we'll see everyone, or talk to everyone next time.
All right.